All right. Hello, this is Joette with Balloon Coach, and as I record this, it is January 3rd, 2024. And today we're talking about creating your vision board for 2024. And if you've never created a vision board before, I'm so glad you're here to learn about this process. I have found that for those people who are in the balloon industry, creating a visual board, a vision board that is something that is visual, it helps people who are creatives to see their goals and help them become reality rather than just writing words on a piece of paper. But if you're a person who loves to write words on paper and you don't need the creative images, then do that. The thing with vision boards is there's not a wrong way. It's creating something that relates for you and helps inspires you, encourages you, and reminds you of what your plan is for the year and what it is that you're working so hard for. Because sometimes in the balloon industry, we go through super crazy busy times where we're so overwhelmed with the things that we have to do with our business, our families, and other commitments that we sometimes lose sight of our goals. So having these visual images, either as a screensaver on our computer, our phone, a visual item that we've printed out or we've made out of cardboard up on our wall, all of those things help us out. For anyone that I've not met in the past, my name is Joette Giardina. I am a CBA certified balloon artist from back in like 2008. I am BalloonCoach.com since 2015, helping balloon professionals around the world grow their business. And I have been in the balloon industry full-time as my income since 2003. So just celebrated 20 years in the industry. Super love helping other people take the next step and giving you access to training I wish I would have had back when I started in 2023. So a hot topic a couple people were asking me as they were joining in was about my experience on the confetti crew in New York City as 2023 became 2024. On the far left is a picture of Treb, who is the gentleman who was the founder of the balloon industry, really, as far as decor goes. He used to be, as a child, a balloon vendor at Disney in California. And then over the years, he is the person who created the glass house balloon, which is the balloon that when you go to Disneyland, Disney World, or any of the Disney parks around the world, that clear balloon that surrounds the latex Mickey ears, that is his balloon that he's created. And over 33 years ago, he was asked to come up with a special effect for New Year. So 34 years ago, there was not a confetti blizzard in Times Square for New Year's Eve, but he was approached and he was asked to create something that would be awesome. He was known for his huge balloon installations all over the place, from being the kickoff for the Olympics to doing things in Washington, D.C., for doing balloon drops for political events. And so this organization called him in and said, hey, what can you do to make Times Square a magical moment at New Year's Eve? And that's when the confetti blizzard was born. And so I'm sharing this story because as we talk about what are your goals for 2024, I think so many times we get stuck thinking we have to be like somebody else or do things how someone else does them. But Treb has been an innovator in the balloon industry, creating these amazing, memorable moments that didn't used to exist. At one point, there wasn't a balloon arch or a balloon column. He's the one that came up with that. And so I want to make sure that you kind of look at life that way, that, hey, I don't have to be like everyone else. I can actually invent or create something that has never existed before. Or as a balloon business owner, you can also choose to keep life really simple and just do the proven systems that we know that work. But I just thought it was a really cool way that it was a bucket list item for me. I had had many of my mentors in the industry from 20 years ago had talked to me about their experiences up on the roofs of buildings of Times Square at New Year's Eve and watching the confetti fly. And the pictures do not do it justice. It is much more magical in person. It was neat to be in the hustle and bustle of the city, but I do have to say I am back glad to be back at home in Lakeland, Florida. Melissa Vincent and her son were there. That was her second time being on the crew. This is my husband, Brian, and we were going down the elevators in our outfits to go hit the streets. So as we go through this process, I'm wishing you a prosperous new year. And I want you to keep that in your mind. Prosperity, happiness, joy, and think about the things that are going to bring those to your life in this year. So what I want to do is get focused on you and make sure that you know that the whole purpose of doing the vision board is to focus on your why. Why do you have a balloon business? All right. Or if you are a person that has a rental company or any other type of business, why do you have that business? Why are you a business owner? What is it you want from that experience? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the worksheet. So I'm going to keep that in this book and I'm going to go over here. Sorry. Push the right buttons, Joette. All right, there you go. So when we talk about what is your why, I want you to write it down. So you can take a second and you can print this out, or if you want to just go into Canva and type it, you can type right into this document. You just click on it and you can put your answers there. But what is your why? And if you are on with me live and you want to share a why, I'd love to know, why do you have a balloon business?
I'll share, Joette.
Sure. Thank you, Kristen.
I think that last year when I was at the summit, I had a hard time trying to determine what my why was. And I've realized that it gives me an outlet to be creative. So my bottom line isn't money. It allows me to be creative and find joy in color and creativity.
I love that. Cool. Anybody else want to share a why?
I'll share.
Thank you, Sherry.
Mine is similar to Kristen's. I used to be a cake decorator and I had to stop doing cake decorating for multiple reasons. One, because of my hands, because of my diabetes. And so I needed something for my creative outlet. So that was my creative outlet, was to do that. And it was kind of pushed on me by my husband.
All right. So switching from the creative outlet of the cakes into the balloons. That's awesome. And as you guys think about this, about what is your why, I want you to think about, like, what gets you excited to get out of bed in the morning? Like, why are you doing this? Like, why do you have that business? What is it that you enjoy about it? What is it that you want to gain from it? And while people are thinking, for me, back in 2003, when I bought Party People, it was a company owned by someone locally. They had a storefront. I used to be their customer. And I used to, actually, my mom purchased balloons from them when my daughter was born. And I watched their company grow over the years, and I always enjoyed the work that they did. And then I went to a conference. I was selling party supplies online. I'd always enjoyed creating events. And so at that, and basically it was party supplies in a box that got sent to you. It was called 1-800-Party Shop. It no longer exists. But when I went to that conference, they had balloon decor everywhere. And I was like, wow, you can make palm trees and arches and columns. This is really cool. I didn't know it was a thing. And to the level that I saw there. And so over time, it was like, oh, you know what? I do want to have my own business. And the previous owners offered me the company. And that was pretty cool. And when I jumped into it, I did not realize, all of the tasks that go along with being a business owner. But for me, what happened is my daughter was 4 and I wanted to be able to have more of a flexible schedule. And I didn't like that at the corporate job I had at the time, which was selling insurance for Geico Insurance. I didn't like that they could dictate at any time to change my schedule on me and say, nope, you no longer have the weekends off. You have to work on the weekends. Or, hey, I don't care that you're sick. We still need you on the phones. And so I was burnt out on being, that bit, yeah, it's a long story. But anyway, I was burnt out. I'd been in social work and I had also experienced other things in my life. And I just decided it was time for me to have something that I enjoyed creating on a daily basis, and not a job that I hated. And so I had gone through many different career paths that just weren't the fit that I wanted. And it was uplifting and it was rewarding being my own boss. And so I think, when you look at that, sometimes we know for sure what we're creating, but I knew that I didn't want to have to answer to someone else. And I absolutely love, there is nothing better than walking into a room that you have designed for somebody, bringing their vision to life, and for them to be overjoyed and saying, oh my gosh, Joette, I had no idea that you can make this room look this beautiful. That is such a warm, fuzzy feeling. And I absolutely still love that today. Now I just do it as Balloon Boss Summit by being able to put creative people in charge and making an amazing room for everybody as they come in for Balloon Boss Summit events. So what is your why? What gets you excited about going down to bed? Tabitha, can you open up your mic?
Hey, Joette. My why is I was super creative and I love to spread joy. And I began as a face painter, and then I found balloon twisting. And then in 2016, World Balloon came to New Orleans, and I, like you, had no idea the amazing way that balloon decor can change a space and spread joy and evoke emotion. And so that's when I told my husband, hey, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, and made a giant pivot and hadn't looked back since.
Awesome. That's great. I'm checking to see if anybody else typed in too. All right, so for the people who've come in new, I'm making sure that you've got the link to the notes so that you can type into them directly or answer. But I want you to take this moment to make sure you're writing down your why. Why do you have your balloon business? What is it that gets you excited about the morning as you wake up? And as we go through this process, I want to make sure that you let your dreams soar like a kite and see where it'll take you. Because so many times I think we limit ourselves. And now I want to be real clear on this. If your income goal is $10,000 a year, that's awesome. $10,000 a year is what you need to put in your pocket from your balloon business. And that just means you need to sell about $20,000 to $30,000 a balloon. Totally awesome. It's not about, oh, your dreams only count if you want to have $1 million business with employees. No, okay? I want to make sure that you're creating your dream. For many people, it might be that you are just trying to downsize, right? You used to have a corporate job that you made $100,000 a year, but you no longer need that because you put money into a 401k in retirement and you saved up. And now you just want to have something that as you retire from corporate America gives you some joy, gives you an outlet to not just become a couch potato, and you have a small amount of money that you actually need to earn from balloons, so you might only have to do a couple of gigs a month. So I want to make sure that I'm really clear on this, because so many times I find, especially for my people who are mastermind or come to Balloon Boss Summit, that when you hear about the people who are doing $300,000, $500,000, or $1 million a year in sales, that sometimes that makes people feel like less than. And that's not it. In the balloon industry and in life, the only person to compare yourself is the person you were yesterday. All right. So it's looking in the mirror. It's looking on your phone as yourself, if that's what you use instead of a mirror, looking and saying, you know what? I'm going to be a better person than I was yesterday, or I'm going to create the things that I want, maybe putting the things from the past in the rearview mirror and not looking back and looking forward. And I want to make sure that as you're planning these dreams, it's about making your heart soar and your dreams, your wishes, the things that you want to do. It's different than other people. So create this just for you. Shelly, do you want to share yours?
Sure. I really want to create something that will make my family proud and that maybe I can leave as a legacy. And I love to create magical moments
Awesome.
and financial. I would like a financial freedom. That's definitely on there too.
Awesome. Hannah, would you like to share yours? Hey, Hannah. I don't know, Hannah, if your microphone's working. All right. Is there anybody else who would like to share a why of why you're in the balloon business? As we move forward, I want you to write down, you don't have to share this, it's totally up to you, but what is the income that you want to have so that you can purchase things with your balloon money, all right? So it's not that sales goal, but the income, the amount of money you want to put in your pocket, and you can type it into the chat if you want, just to throw it out there. But you don't have to. You don't have to share your income number, but I want to make sure that you're writing down, like, how much money do you need to put in your pocket to pay the electric, go on the vacations, all that kind of stuff. Writing that number down and knowing what it is so important. And Tanisha, go right ahead and share what you were going to about your why.
Sorry, I'm off into my kids went back to school today, and so I'm trying to hurry and disinfect my house before they come home from school. So
I love it.
yeah. My why is years ago, before I started having all these babies, I was an event planner. And so during that time, after I had my first daughter, I was like, I cannot be away from my baby this long. Like, planning a wedding, that's so many hours. The day of the wedding, 24 hours. I mean, it was so much. And I was like, I just can't do that. So I decided to kind of step away. And when I stepped away, I started seeing people overseas doing big, huge balloon things. And I was like, oh my God, I love that. And so I kind of started teaching myself how to do that. And for me, it was still a way, balloons is still a way for me to be a part of people's celebrations. Even if it's just, the balloons, it's still a way for me to be a part of their event without having to devote so much time to it. So,
That's awesome.
And I do it so that I can be at home with my kids, because my kids are little and they're not going to be little for that much long. So.
I love it. So, that why of wanting to be home with your family and not having to be along for those. Yeah, I don't know how people do the wedding event planners. I'm like, more power to you. I would never want to do that. The mother of the bride, all the dynamics that go along that is crazy. We've had a few new people join us, so I want to let you guys know in the chat, I just typed the Canva link if you have Canva, so that you can have this worksheet and either type onto it or print it out and use it. And we're at the part of our why of what is the income that we need? What is the amount of money that you need to put in your pocket each month? And then the base way that I tell people to do their sales goal, if you haven't been tracking your numbers and you don't know how to do all your percentages, is take that number. So let's say you said you want to have $50,000 a month to put into your family budget. So then you would do 50,000 times 2, and that would then make it $100,000 is the minimum of the balloons that you would need to sell. And then if you're underpricing and you have really high overhead, it may be more than that, but it kind of gives you a base start until you've really crunched your numbers well. And if you actually know your numbers, then you can do that math based on your percentages. So I love it. One of our folks said that they're currently at 75 to 80,000 a year in sales, and they really want to hit that $100,000 mark to be able to grab those bigger clients. Awesome goal. I love it. So it's writing it down that's going to help you soar and make those things happen. So the next thing I'd like people to look at with your why is, what do you want your work schedule to be like as a balloon business owner? What time frames are working for you? Some of you have small children that you need to get to school, or middle school, high school kids that you have to get somewhere, or you might have to take them to sporting events. So looking at that schedule and be like, hey, these are the days I work, and this is the time that I, need to be available for other things. And here's the thing with the balloon business. You can train other people to do deliveries, to do strikes, to create the balloons, to sell the balloons. Like, you can have somebody do all of it for you if you want to build your business that way. Or you can be a one-man show. But the thing is if you are a one-man show, you're going to burn out at some point if you don't ever take time off. And as you grow your business and become a boss, you will also still want to take some time off at some point or you will burn out. All right. And I'm speaking from experience. I was working over 80 hours a week as a balloon business owner. And the only time I was seeing my family was when they went on jobs with me, and they were not real thrilled about that. There were some that were super, super fun, and we got to have amazing experiences that they never would have had if I wasn't in the balloon industry, like our spring break to Colorado to World Balloon, and my daughter meeting people from like 50 different countries around the world. Phenomenal. But again, it was revolved around a balloon. So I want you to look at this is what days of the week you're working. And it's okay to take a full day off or a half day off. And it's okay to tell your client, no, we don't deliver on Sundays. Chick-fil-A, I always use them as example. Chick-fil-A, when I drive down the road and they're open, they've got a double line. Actually, in our city now, it's a triple line. They have 3 lines of cars always buying food. I've never seen their drive-through empty. But they're not open on Sundays, but they still make money. And so I use that as an example for folks of like, if you're afraid to take a day off, you can always find people who need balloons on the other days of the week, or you can offer to deliver early, or you can find somebody to deliver those balloons for you on the days you don't want to work. So I always challenge people and encourage you to make sure that you're planning some time off for yourself. And what we're going to do is as we go through this, we're going to work on the strategy of how to set this all up. Oh, I love it. Stephanie said her new goal is to work less hours and make more. Stephanie, do you want to talk any more about that?
Yeah, I was trying to.
Yeah,
I was having all kinds of
I was having all
technology,
kinds of technology issues.
and I think I have an echo.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm tired of working so hard, but I love what I do. So I got to figure that out. And so that means I need bigger money or something. I still want to be in this business. I just don't want to be so tired. I don't want to be away from my family as much. So my, I have a why. I love what Tabitha was saying about just creating something that people come in and say, wow. I'm not detail oriented, so I could never be an event planner. That's what I originally tried. But so I love the freedom that balloons give you, that when you just can create, and my customers usually trust me and say, just go ahead and do it. And when it comes out fabulous, I'm like, oh, wow, I didn't know I could do that. So I love that feeling, but I just want to not be as tired.
Awesome. That's a great goal.
Afterwards.
And part of it comes in putting those systems in place for other people to do things for you. And then the other part, like you said, if you can go after those larger accounts that have a higher profit margin, it's definitely a great opportunity for that also. Great goal. So the next step that I want you guys to look at is a year from now, what are 3 things that you would like to accomplish? A year from now, what are 3 things that you would like to accomplish? So at the end of the year, you'll be able to say, I did this, this, and this. And it doesn't have to be just about your business. It could be that you accomplished that you went on a family vacation and you hadn't done that, or that you went for a massage once a month, or that you learned Taekwondo, or you went to a ballroom dancing class. Right? So as you look at those 3 things that you would like to accomplish in the next year, it can be about a hobby. It can be about something with family. It can be about trip. It can be that you took a half day off. It could be that you were making the same amount of money you did this year, but you worked half the amount of hours. So it's anything you want. 3 things that you would like to have accomplished when we meet back again next year this time. All right. And if anybody wants to share one of the things that they would like to accomplish, feel free to open up your mic.
Georgette, it's Cynthia.
Hey, Miss Cynthia.
One of the three things that I have here is my CBA. I want to do that this year.
Okay.
And I also want a better workspace. It's very small and it's not as organized as I'd like. And I would like to wrap my van. Those are the three things that I have.
All right. Awesome. Awesome. So I'm going to use Cynthia as an example real quick. Is that as you're writing your vision board, you can type, like you can get an image for it and put up like the CBA certificate or a picture of what an organized workspace looks like or what a wrap van looks like. And then underneath it, you can put bullet points like if it is that you want to make sure that you earn the money to wrap that van first, then it's finding out how much money it costs to wrap the van and say, I will get 10 new clients that are paying me $500 that with a $500 profit on each job. And that'll give me the $5,000 to wrap my van, so that you can kind of break that down a little bit and then look at, okay, how am I going to go after those new clients? I'm going to attend a networking meeting every single month with my ideal clients so that I can consistently build relationships with the people that I want to work with. Or it could be I'm going to make 5 outbound calls on a daily basis to land the clients that I want. It might be that I'm going to go through masterclass and mastermind and reach out and make those referral partners that I need to help me get those larger clients that will be able to pay me so that I can then have the money to wrap my van. So just as you're going through this process, that's kind of those extra steps that you can take too, is kind of breaking down some of those things that you need to do to get there. So if anybody else would like to share 3 things that you would like to accomplish, one of the 3 or all 3 of the things that you would like, feel free to open up your mic.
Joette, I want to go back to the first question. This is Stacy. I want to do my why.
Sure.
Well, actually, I can put my video on now. I stopped for lunch. I was driving first. Okay, my first why is I have 2 businesses, and I'm gonna make some changes. I know this year to the percent, how much this versus that. But I do this the balloon part because it's so rewarding and so refreshing with the idea with a social work client. Because sometimes the social work is more problem solving, and if I can be emotionally draining. And when I go and leave my office and then I go to my workshop, oh my God, I'm like, yeah, I feel like I'm in heaven. I'm creating, I'm making things look good, and I'm making people happy. And I'm not getting the backlash on if it follows procedure, that kind of thing.
I can totally relate.
But my number one thing that I've decided to do this year, and it has nothing to do with my dollars, it's about me loving me. I give myself what's left. And this is not going to happen this year. My goal is to love me and to love those who show me love, because there's no other way to guarantee the success personally within me if I'm not feeling good about me and what I'm doing. And I feel sometimes I'm doing stuff and then I don't feel rewarded inside because I wanted somebody else to do something. No, only I can guarantee my happiness. So I have gone on and made a few things to put in place. Tuesday night is $5 movie night in our town. So guess where I'm going to be hanging out? Because I got to be economical. I'm going to go once a month to the movies at $5. 2, the other thing I said I'm going to do, I'm going to plan a trip to visit a loved family member that is older, every 3 months, to get out, to make those connections, because they need it, I need it, and that's what I need. When I looked at my business, I said what I felt motivated me was me knowing my numbers. And when I know my numbers, and I mean my numbers on both businesses, I can see where I'm at. And when I see I'm not where I want to be, I fight more to get there. But when I don't know where I'm at, I'm just chucking along thinking I'm cool. And here it is December. Instead of me being at 80,000, I'm at 50,000. I go, hey, I got a loss from last year. I got to do it differently. And my accountability partner, Stephanie, I gave her a homework assignment, which was our homework assignment. And she did her part. And I got up this morning and I said, I can report my part. These are my numbers. This is what I'm doing. So my first thing is me. And then I can project that same love into what I do and who I do it for. And having the knowledge base on knowing my numbers will motivate me to get on task and stay on task to be where I need to go.
Awesome. I love it. And it does. I found that's why we talk about it every month in Balloon Boss Mastermind with our Thrive Guide. Usually it's the first Monday of the month. And for anybody who didn't catch the memo, because I was in New York and it was the first with everybody with New Year's Day, for Mastermind, we will be doing our Thrive Guide on the 8th at 9 p.m. Eastern. So that way we can review our numbers from December and from last year and see how things went and then make our plan going forward. And so I always encourage everybody to look at your numbers on a monthly basis so you do know where you're at and where you're going, so that you've got the money to do the things that you want. And Stacy, I love the idea of visiting family members because that time is precious, and that's awesome that you take that time to do that. I love it. All right, one more person. Is there anybody else who'd like to share 1 or 3 of the things that you would like to have accomplished a year from now? Everybody's quiet.
Joette, we just met we met at Balloon University, but I was on your team for the confetti. We were both on the same team. My name is Kelly.
Can you do your camera?
To be honest, I am still in bed.
Okay, that's fine. Hello, and you said Kelly?
Yes. I had on shades. I don't know if you remember me. I had on
Okay.
shades. But yeah, so anyways, my 3 things is to get a building that houses everything. So I want to have a warehouse and a workspace together. Right now, I have everything separate. I not only do balloons, but I do rentals and I also do events as well. So I want everything to be in one place because I'm splitting up my business this year. The balloon business and the rentals, they're going to be separate from the events because we do a lot of rentals. So that's one of the things I'm working towards is getting a building and then hiring 2 full-time people. I have some part-time people, but I want to make them full-time so I can take some of the work off of my back. And then I'm not exactly sure of my 3rd one yet, but those are the 2 main things.
Awesome. And where are you located?
I'm in North Carolina, and I do know my 3rd one, and I actually did that this morning, but I got a new website, and everything will be like fully automated. So I won't have to do so much talking to customers when they're making orders for rentals. And then I'm working on that for my balloon side as well.
Congratulations. That does make life much easier. That's awesome. And it was super fun being up on the roof.
Yeah, very fun.
All right. So the next thing I want you guys to think about is a new habit you would like to create for your life. So for me, I shared my journey very openly from 2018 to 2020. I lost 100 pounds. And then because I had a great system, I got up in the morning and I moved my body, and then I paid attention to what I ate. And then over the last 2 years, I let stress eating take over and went back to where I was at. So I am making that new habit starting today of moving my body more on a daily basis and watching the food that I put into my mouth and remembering how great it felt back in 2020 when I had so much more energy. And I definitely felt it while I was in New York and we had to go upstairs at several different locations, at the Balloon Museum, at being on the roof and other places throughout my trip. And I was like, man, this is not where I want to be. So a new habit I'm creating again in my life and that I know works really well is moving on a daily basis. And so, some people might have a habit that they want to drink more water, or that you want to get up at a certain time, or that you want to read before you go to bed. So I encourage you to think of what's one habit that you would like to create for your life. And one person just shared that they would like to be a better listener to my girls. Oh, that's awesome. Regular schedule to sleep and wake up. Yes. And I wanted to share with you, I left it in the other room, but The Miracle Morning is an amazing book. It's also on audio, that if you're one of those people who struggles with a daily routine and making the most out of your day, I encourage you to read the book or listen to the audio, The Miracle Morning. It's a book that I had read in the past, and then he's done some updates, and it also is about like what your function is in the evening. A lot of what he teaches is what I've been taught by other people and that I use as part of our Thrive Guide too and Mastermind. So I'm just giving you that extra tool out there that I encourage you to look at that. The Miracle Morning, if you're one of those people that just needs a little bit of extra reading or want an audio book to listen to. So the next part of this is I want you to list 5 words that you want to describe your life or business a year from now. So 5 words that describe you. And joy, happiness, fit, joyful, energetic, peaceful, whatever it is, prosperous, freedom, whatever. Think of the words that you want to describe your life a year from now. And if you want to share any of them, feel free to open up your mic and share.
I'll share, Joette.
Okay.
At Summit, Diana was talking about responding, saying, thankful, grateful, and blessed. And I do that all the time. And I'm sure it drives people crazy, but I genuinely love saying it. I used to always go, I'm fine. And, so saying this has just been part of my habit now, and I do it all the time. So that was nice of her to share.
Oh, I love it. So for anybody who wasn't at Balloon Boss Summit, which just throwing that out there, Balloon Boss Summit is my annual event that I put together every year in November. Half of our seats are sold for next year. If you would like to join us, you can go to BalloonCoach.com and look at Summit. It is a really cool time to learn from other people in the industry and help come up with your plan for the year and energize. But Diane Gladden, who is from Knoxville, Tennessee, above the rest, Balloon Event Designs, she does a lot of stuff for UT. And she is one of those people who is really about the mind and body connection, and the way we think is the way we then act, and that's how we end up feeling. And what she talks about is that if we wake up every morning feeling grateful and blessed and doing like a gratitude journal, it really changes your perception on things. And then also when people ask you, how are you? And if you say, I'm grateful and blessed, it is a total game changer in how their interaction will become with people. Rather than, focusing on the negative things that are going on in the world. If you think about, I'm grateful and blessed. I am grateful to be alive, and I am blessed to have a roof over my head. Sometimes we get so inundated with the negative things that are going on. Oh, the plumbing's broken, all that kind of stuff. We're like, hey, I live in a house with plumbing. That's pretty awesome, right? Even if there is troubles with it. So throwing that out there, that was a great one, Kristen. Thank you. So I'm looking in the chat, and I've got active grandmother, prosperous, grateful, loved, and loving. Moving from renter to home ownership. Cool. Happiness, abundance, prosperous, grateful, loved. Awesome. Blessed, joyful, focused, uninhibited, unstoppable. Love those. Humble, married. Anybody else who wants to open up their mic, feel free to. Love this. Learning machine. Different job. Love, blessed. One other thing with weight loss that somebody had taught me was, instead of saying I'm losing weight, say that I'm releasing the weight. So it's different, because when we say we lose it, then we want to find it again, and I found it again. So, so I have to go back to using that word, release. So it is interesting, though, how words can change things. And that's one of the things that I've been working on this year in Balloon Boss Mastermind, is getting some different gratitude words out there. Also helping people with those affirmations of just pinpointing things a different way. Oops, that's not the book I wanted to show you. So I've got this wonderful book of affirmations, and it's just a way to state things in a clear way of what you're wanting and what you're creating in your life. And it makes it really fun. Calm, organized, accomplished, luxurious, loving, creative, bigger, celebratory, well-staffed, relaxed, family, supporting others, love, crafting, and relaxing. Lots of great words. I love it, guys. And then the next couple of things that I want you to think about is, what do you believe your purpose is? Why are you here and on the planet? What is your purpose? What is it that you are to do while you're here? And then what is a bucket list item that you want to do? And a bucket list item doesn't have to be huge. Like, it doesn't have to be jump from a helicopter or, go on a huge extravagant trip. A bucket list item might be a person that you want to spend time with. It might be going to a place near you for downtime, a staycation. It could be staying in your home and reading a book. So I always tell people too, with bucket list items, it might be huge, crazy, off the top. And it's great to have some big things that you want to do. But sometimes I think people think that bucket list items have to cost you a ton of money, and they don't. It could be just something that you've always wanted to do or experience. So yeah, a bucket list item is just something that you want to check off, that's something special that you've always wanted to do, or that maybe is something new that you've been inspired to do because you've watched somebody else do something. So throw out those bucket list items and what you believe your purpose is. Oh, and I realized I'm not sharing my screen, so this way you guys will see what I'm asking people to do. So what I believe my purpose is, and a bucket list item that I want to do. And I'm going to put, for the new people who come into the group, throwing out the worksheet that we're currently working on in Canva. To provide service for others and take a vacation out of the USA. Sounds great. Go hiking with my brother. Ooh, that sounds cool. Do something fun for 20th anniversary. Yeah, Brian and I will be celebrating our 30th in April. So I told him that the trip to New York was our kickoff. All right.
Joette, I can share what I think my purpose is. So I think that would be to help spread joy and love through my creative offerings, not just like the things that clients are paying for, but just because that's what I do, is I just create. And so I help support my home church with their social media, and I help with the props for like my children's school for their performances. And so I think that's what my purpose is. And I think that kind of is how I ended up where I'm at for work as well. And There's a few things on my bucket list, but I just added climb Mount St. Helens because I did it when I was in 11th grade and it was difficult then, but I have wanted to do it again in my adult life. And I think that's a good goal for because I too was on a really good health journey and was making really good strides with taking care of myself during quarantine. And then as life has picked up and gotten busy, I've like let myself go and don't feel great all the time. So I'm not taking care of myself. So in order to be able to climb Mount St. Helens again, I need to get back on that. But I've also added, because of what you've done this week, is I too now want to throw confetti for New York, New Year's. So that's on my bucket list as well.
So not to burst any bubbles, but for this year, the list is full.
Yeah, no, in
So I'm just
general,
saying for those bucket
in
list items, you might want to put it for the future.
Yeah, bucket list in general. Doesn't have to
Cool.
be next year. Yeah.
Yay. Cool. I love the going back on the climb that you did in 11th grade. That's awesome. I love it. And I like how you described your purpose, because I think so many times we don't realize how much volunteering and doing other things for other people can really make us feel good and give back to the world. So I love it. Congratulations for taking that time and doing those things for your school and your church.
Hey, Joette, I would like
Yes.
to, because now I'm officially driving, so I don't have to not share as much. But my purpose in life is to help facilitate other people's goal that they may have, whether that is living healthier or safe place to live, or to just be happy. I feel like I'm a facilitator and making people's happiness at least come to a plan. It may not become completely accomplished, but we can discuss a plan. And my bucket list for me is to just continue to reach out to find other people that I can help so that I can continue to grow in that avenue of helping others.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing, Stacy.
Thank you. Can you mute me?
I will.
Thank you.
All right. So what I want to encourage you guys as we go through this, because we've been together for about an hour, and it is a process that takes a little bit of time, is that you can make your vision board on the computer in the graphic that I've given you, or you can do it where you put it on paper. And so it can be cardstock, it can be poster board, whatever, and you can cut things out. Or if you can't find images because you don't have magazines anymore, you can actually look at those images and print them off on your computer and then type them out. But one of the cool things is that when we take markers and we write words that make us motivated or the things we want, having this visual helps. Like having the van here. So Debbie's story from several years ago, I talked about how she wanted to get the new van, wrap it, and retire her husband, and she retired her husband early. And so it was just neat seeing them get their vehicle that they had put onto that vision board and making those things happen. So anybody that wants to use the file that's there in the Canva worksheet that I gave you guys, you can actually go in and just start changing it. So like if it's not if you don't want a delivery vehicle, take that out and put the thing you want there. Grab an image to put it there. If you're wanting to show up at a conference, this would now be 24. You can put that in there. So just look at the different things that you're wanting, delete out the things that you don't want and put the images you want. Or like if you don't like the color blue as your background and your favorite color is pink, you can change that out to make it your own. So that's the nice thing about the digital, is you can kind of play with it really, really easily. So wanted to show you guys that part. And then I want to make sure that I check to see if anybody has other questions for me. As you're going through this process, I want you to acknowledge when you're putting up a roadblock. Sometimes as we're planning our goals and our dreams and our bucket lists, we're like, oh, I could never do that. Like, I'll never make the list to go to do confetti at Times Square. No, I'm like, hey, I want to go do that. And at some point, put some plans into place for it. Creating focusing on that end result that you want to accomplish as you're making your vision board. And know that you can always seek out training and support to improve your skills and confidence to make those dreams reality. And as you're doing your vision board and you're putting things down, sometimes we do the things that we fear. Some people were scared to do a balloon drop for the first time, and they did it and they sold it and it went great for them. Other times people are fearful to get out in their community and do bridal fairs or go to chamber mixers and things like that. So I encourage you to put those things down, though, if those are a goal, and then step out of the fear and just do it. And then just a reminder, if you're not currently in our mastermind program and you would like ongoing support and training, we're here to help you out with that. And the last part of that is I want to let you guys know that I am doing a Jumpstart challenge for January. And so if you want to do that, you go to BalloonCoach.com and you join the 4-week challenge. You can join it at any time. You'll get a challenge card weekly of the things that you need to do for that week. And all you have to do is just click sign up, and then you give a couple of pieces of information and we send that automation out to you. And then those of you who are in my mastermind program, you have access to the extra training that helps you take those steps. But you don't have to be in mastermind to do the Jumpstart challenge. You just have to be in mastermind to have all the extra access to all of the editable templates and those kind of things. Bottom line is, guys, do what makes you happy in 2024. Create a plan that you will let your dreams soar. All right. And so for anybody who wants support and help through this process, email me, Joette@BalloonCoach.com, or for those of you in Mastermind, you can put questions up in our group coaching group. I'm going to turn off the recording now so that people can have more conversation and we can work on this time together. And maybe for those people who are still not sure what they want their goals to be, we can help you out with that. And then the last part I want to let you know is we do have lots of extra training going on for the month of January. So follow me in our groups to see those next training. We've got one coming up this Friday at noon with Nicole from Let Nicole Help. And it'll be on 17 hats and how to put things in place to be able to really follow your numbers and where things are coming from, and super excited about that. So again, guys, if you have other questions, you can always email me, Joette@BalloonCoach.com. And thanks for everybody who joined me live. As I do always, I stop our recording and give it as a time to help you guys through the vision board, and also can answer other questions for you. So have an amazing day. I'm wishing you a very prosperous new year.